You may have worked with JavaScript earlier and found it hard, or you may have heard other people saying that JavaScript is hard to work with. But JavaScript is actually quite a fun language to work with. If you know a little bit of history about why JavaScript is the way it is and why it is a little unlike other traditional languages. And now that HTML5 and CSS3 with JavaScript has become the platform of choice to develop rich internet applications, there's no escape from JavaScript anymore. Well, jokes apart, let's see a little history of JavaScript to understand why there are some potential pain points so that we may avoid those pitfalls. The first thing that you should know, and many of you may already be knowing, is that JavaScript has nothing to do with Java. They are completely different languages without any relation except for maybe why the name of JavaScript has a Java in it. The history of JavaScript starts with a company named Netscape and this gentleman Brendan Eich, who happens to have co-founded the Mozilla project. Now, Netscape had a browser named Netscape Navigator that was in direct competition with Microsoft's Internet Explorer. Netscape wanted to make web pages richer by putting some dynamism in place. Till then, HTML pages were static, and Netscape, driven by the browser war with Microsoft, wanted to give a better experience to its users. So in 1995, they hired Brendan Eich to develop a programming language that can be executed on the Netscape browser. Brendan Eich developed the first version of this language in just a couple of weeks, and this first version was called JavaScript. Now, because it was supposed to run inside of a browser, it had to be lightweight. So JavaScript is a very concise language, and there are not many rules, as you will see. Also, it is not a good idea to show a lot of errors to a person who visits your web page, because that may just scare them off. So JavaScript was designed to make intelligent guesses in case there was some conflicting situation and tries to execute to completion without showing errors to the user, so that the web page works as much as possible. You will learn about some of the strange things that JavaScript does, but then you will be able to appreciate the design if you know the reason for those design choices. During the same time, Java was developed by Sun Microsystems as a language for the internet, so that Java programs, known as applets, could run on a browser. But applets didn't pick up very well, and Java ended up finding a niche in enterprise application development. But at that time, Sun and Netscape joined hands against Microsoft, and JavaScript was renamed as JavaScript because the name Java had become quite popular and a buzzword by then. And ECMA, which stands for European Computer Manufacturers Association, was entitled with the task of standardizing JavaScript. With this little background, let's start learning the language now.